Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tricia. So pleased to be here with you.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you here to learn more. So before we start, I just want to ask you, what first drew you to matchmaking? And what did you start noticing about people and relationships once you were inside that world?
This was a natural phenomenon for me because I started matchmaking as a late teenager. I was 18 years old and just a hobby. I was romantic, and as a result, I just wanted to see everybody in love. And at the time, I was already dating in a relationship, actually. And I wanted everybody else to be in the relationship. And so that's how it all began. And people naturally gravitated to me. And this is something became as a lifelong hobby until later in life it became a business.
Wow. Wow. So what is you can just say in general that you've learned about people and relationships doing this work?
Some people want it in terms of um, maybe not even understanding fully what matchmakers do, but just the concept of it. It's very alluring because people who are single typically think, "Oh, you have someone for me." So, as I was a youngster back in the day, people you would come to me and say, "Do you have anybody for me?" So it's already began early on. As I got to know them, I always had said, "Oh, I have someone for you." So it's something that I developed over the decades, and what I think I learned most is that people gravitate to you because they want the introduction, but a lot of times, A, they're not ready, or B, their wish list may not be realistic, or C, they don't bring to the table what they want in a partner. People just don't understand that investing in a job, which they take with great pride and care and happy to invest, why would you not invest the same amount of intent, love for yourself as you would for your job, your career? Why would you not do the same kind of effort for love?
Exactly. And also thinking about what you said too about the wish list, if we make that comparison with recruiting, companies and candidates are aligned. You're not going to get the job of president of sales in this company unless you really are like in that capacity. It's clear.
Exactly.
It's very clear. And I wonder
Right.
if people think of you more as like a fairy godmother that can just come and wave a magic
Magic.
wand.
Exactly. Magic. And they don't understand the kind of research really comes into finding a love candidate. It's very different and has to be emotionally on the same plateau, same level, same synergies, has to be lifestyle compatibility. There's so many different factors that fall into search for a matchmaker. And of course, there's a coaching and guiding, all of this already in place. So they basically in a much better place and more likely to find their love relationship, companionship, partnership, as long as it's a meaningful relationship. That's all I work with. I don't work with casual relationship, and I certainly do not see myself as a dating service. I'm not a dating service. I'm more about specifically people who are interested in togetherness to the end, but rather living
Mhm.
more of their life together than more of their life searching.
Yeah.
Because life is short. We don't know tomorrow.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
definitely. I also work with women who are seeking a partner, and I wonder if we have a lot of synergy in this area. But what do you think is something that's not always said out loud, but a struggle that women are bringing to the dating scene?
I think women, if guys are watching, sorry guys, but I have to say, in this equation, women are most, I should say, more clear about the relationship and about what intake entails and their role in it and what they want out of the partner. Where guys, sorry, not so clear on the direction. And largely date way under their age group.
Hmm.
Say anything's bad with it, but it still could be an issue on some level, mental, in terms of there's just not too much compatibility. Again, they're looking for something maybe just different. And I do have clients like that. But there's a lot of discussion between them and me because we need to iron out their needs, what they want in a partner. And after discussion, they're actually more open to dating a little older. But women, I think, much more aware and they know what they want on a greater scale. And so today's modern woman doesn't have to settle, and they basically don't. And so they'd rather wait until the right partner comes along. I have clients like that, female for who are looking for something very specific. And until I find that person, it may take a little while, but I will find the person. Actually, I pride myself on actually checking off 95% of the boxes for my clients. So in some cases, 100%. Um, so I know that person will come along, and I'm actively searching for such people that I know would be exact fit for my client. Um, but generally, women do not settle down anymore, and I think it's great. The roles have been shifted really, and it's beautiful. But they still know when to be their feminine versus the leaders that they are.
Yes, I'm sure you do see a lot of women who are in very powerful roles in the world in their jobs.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
it's interesting because with my work with the lens, it's like there's a different lens that you're wearing in that kind of executive environment. And then there's a softer, maybe different feel to how a woman wants to be nurtured, cherished, adored in her relationship. So making that switch from work to the date, it's it takes a little bit of awareness. What do you think of that?
I agree completely. Sometimes the high powered executive, senior executive, sometimes unable to shift quickly. But I think with time and guidance, they able to clearly get into the role of feminine and more of a just letting go, like surrender almost in a beautiful way because they frankly just tired to be at the top all the time. They want to be nurtured. They want to be with a man who understands that in the boardroom, she's a leader, and now in togetherness, she's just a queen. A queen, but in the sense of still nurturing and understanding that she is with her king. And this is very important, critical piece to understand that a lot of guys don't understand that women can actually amplify their lives
Yeah.
significantly. Yeah.
Yes.
Significantly amplify. So I have been doing for a while is creating those power couples where guys sometimes say to me what they find out what I do. I'm like in a good place now. I don't want to change my life because it's going to really just change the whole dynamic. I just don't have the bandwidth about this. I'm like, okay, and that's fine if that's what you think, but I don't think you're completely off on this. And let me tell you what, I flipped the switch and then they're like, what? Like they're clueless. They just haven't seen that piece. Even fact that women only can amplify their lives. There still could be individuality and they can still do their own thing, but and they can still live a lifestyle that will just complement one another. Has nothing to do with she's coming into the territory. That's just the thinking of someone who hasn't been either coach guided or that has no previous relationship that stuck for
Yeah.
longevity or
Yeah.
never married, doesn't have any kids. So some people actually come off saying, I never been married. I have no kids. I have nothing, no baggage, and you have no experience. And it's
Yeah.
not people just generally, I think, allow themselves to fall into the workforce for whatever reasons, because maybe some pain, definitely. Nobody gives us maps of how to navigate the love life, how to navigate relationships. It's your intuitiveness or whatever professional help you may seek in that area. So those who feel they know everything, we know where that goes to. It's not going to move. That needle will remain the same. If they consciously, instead of bashing me, oh, how could she say that? But they're going to look inside, internalize all this, and really be honest and vulnerable with themselves and understand that what I'm saying is actually, there's some truth to that. There's a lot of truth to that. But a lot of
Yeah.
people will not allow themselves to feel like, oh, what do I know? I know me. I'm very successful. But what is success without a partnership?
Yeah.
It's a lonely victory.
No, I did definitely. So, on the subject of chemistry and connection, one thing I find with clients is, and even myself personally, when I've gone through this path and had to go through a lot of steps to get to the point where I'm now, where I have a really wonderful partner, is people are attracted to a certain type and it's a habit or it's a comfort zone. And how do you help your clients to open up to more healthy chemistry or attraction? Like, how do you encourage that when you know that maybe their pattern is going for the wrong chemistry or
Mm.
the chemistry that's not going to last, I guess is a better way to say it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually more common than not. People have their types and they typically get attracted to and stuck on that type. Now, if we break down the type, right, we have to go back to the past and say, let's break this down. How did this type fulfilled you over the years? What have you learned by dating this type? How did it end? And obviously, we're still talking, so not well. Those questions really shift the mindset and at least allow the open component to at least try to date somebody other than the type. Be open minded in terms of overall picture, not the ever changing beauty, external beauty, and just go for the heart. The
Yeah.
heart, if you don't love the heart, you don't love the mind, you have no chance of keeping this relationship going.
Yeah.
And having that friendship first as a foundation, which is I'm true, I am like, I can't tell you how much I believe in that foundation. I think it's a pillar of any relationship, to establish that friendship and that likeness of the individual. So before you love someone, you gotta like them first. Because if love ever shifts in your relationship, you have something to fall on and further pick up the pieces and rebuild. But if you don't like that person, you're out.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say is that it's more than just on the surface. It's like a deeper alignment that's goes beyond those superficial qualities and it can endure the inevitable changes that are going to happen in life. Like aging. How do you know when someone is truly ready? When you're meeting with a client for the first time, or even just a repeat client, how do you know that they're really ready now to find someone?
I have to say that some people are ready on surface. They are ready in terms of what they want. They know wholeheartedly they want a relationship. They want to start a family. They came to a point in their lives, they're much older. And I'm talking about like 40s and up. And the process is a process. It's not going to be overnight. If we're lucky, yes, I have somebody immediately. If not, the search has to occur. And interestingly enough, that they may be ready for the dating, but they're not ready for the relationship building.
Mhm.
And they're not ready for actual dating dynamic of how to date. Because folks, they're shy, introverts. I'm talking that category. They have no idea how to even speak on the phone to land that date.
Yeah.
And that is very common. So they come to me, yes, I want to be introduced. And when I do they do the introduction, they can move it forward.
Mhm.
So let's break it down. Let me see if I can give you some guidance. And guess what? Shockingly, they don't want it.
Oh,
Yes, they
okay.
don't want the coaching. And
Okay.
as a result, that's never going to move forward.
Okay.
So no, because person is not fully internalized their pitfalls, their inner lack of communication skills that
Mhm.
developed, again, it's usually shyness and introvert, generally, they will not be able to move that needle. And it's very sad. It's very sad. And they're like too proud to acknowledge even themselves that they need help.
Yeah. I find that too, that your power exists only in the present moment. If you cannot be fully there and in the present, the opportunity just passes by. It's like the person could be
Yeah.
there, but if you're not there, all there, you miss it. You miss the person. They're
Yeah.
gone. So there's a lot
Yes.
of work and preparation from my experience too, with my own experience and with clients, to just build the capacity to be present wherever you are so that you can be there in that moment. Preparation meeting opportunity. So when the moment comes, you're actually going to capture it instead of think, oh gosh, I missed it.
Exactly. And I offer mock dating scenes for those who are like, they have to be ready and they have to acknowledge that they need help. But most of them do not acknowledge. They say, oh, I know it. I'm good. I've been married in the past. There's so many different pieces to it. And some of them say, I don't need coaching because I'm in therapy. Therapy, it's fascinating and fantastic that people do go to therapy. And I'm not knocking this. I'm not contrary. I think it's great that they deal with their traumas of their past so it doesn't come into the future or, or even the present. But it's not the same thing as a dating coach. It's completely different. And people just don't get that piece, which
No,
is again an issue, huge issue.
no, it's definitely different. I think that's a huge part is when they show up on the date, you've done all this work to prepare the two people to get the alignment. It's a miracle, it's an alchemy that they can both show up and be open and present. Even get to see, who is this person in front of me? Am I even seeing this person? Or am I too in my head to even see anything? There's so much going into that matchmaking process. It sounds like beyond just getting to know them and matching, it's preparation for that moment of connection.
Correct. Yes. Thank you. And it's very hard for Matchmaker to see how aligned these people could be and how perfect they could be if they only bridge that gap and have that communication, talk to one another. But when one person, either male or female, it goes both ways, just unable to articulate the early stages of communication and show their inner self and just be open a little more often than not. In this case, things could have gone so much better. And I see that these two are like perfect for each other. And
Yeah.
there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
My work ends with introduction because finding that introduction is like, oh, sometimes it's like incredibly difficult. Sometimes I have to reach out to my global clients, global matchmakers, the network that I work with to find that perfect match. And I have. And then it's just doesn't jive because one person doesn't know how to communicate well, but too proud to ask for help.
Yeah.
So what happens? Self-sabotaging it,
Yeah. Yeah,
you
self-sabotage.
know?
I feel like also the women that have been hurt, the walls are high, and it's I try to encourage them, even just 5 degrees, like letting the wall down, even just 5 minutes of vulnerability on a date. Just saying something true that they're feeling, like, "I was nervous to come tonight," or something that the other person can
It's
hang on to that shows there's a real person inside. This isn't just a
right.
facade I'm on a date with. There's a real person and they're really want a connection. And there's a little piece of truth coming through that can help. It's funny, I tell people because people are interested in my story of when I met my husband, but what was a little thing that happened for me that was lucky is I was out with a really good friend who knew me from childhood, and my husband was interested in me. I walked away, and he said, "What's her deal?" And my friend told him things
Yes.
about me, like, that were real, like, she's been really hurt. She's single because all this has
Oh
happened to her.
no.
She
What
really
happened
wants to meet
there?
someone, but so she gave him more facts about me that I think helped us
It's
because
still
my
recording,
walls were
but
really
you
high, and
left.
I wouldn't have necessarily let him
Hmm.
see all of that right away. So that I really hope that with my clients too, just giving them the courage to be a little fraction, tiny bit real, just tiny bit, and see what happens, especially if there's any interest in the guy. So as we wrap up, I want to ask you with her new lens, I always ask my guests to think of a perspective or a lens that you think could make a difference for your clients, like an inner shift. And with your work, you do so masterfully getting to know your clients and pairing them and coaching them. What would be one shift you could recommend to listeners to consider when they're thinking about hiring a matchmaker or going on dates?
I think number one and the most important is to be true to yourself, to really have a deep dive with yourself, do a self audit. And I would recommend doing that at least once a month because we change, ever evolve as humans. And I think when you really understand who you are,
Mhm.
who you want to be with, what you bring to the table, and who you want on your arm or with you in your relationship, you are much better to pursue that relationship. And also with understanding that where you need help, more importantly, and be
Okay.
honest about it. Because not having that clarity will further create the pattern that you're already in that will not allow you to grow and meet. So be authentic and allow yourself to feel those moments that are not pleasant. See where the shift could occur to better your life, not necessarily with a partner, but with yourself first. And truly understand why. Why are you doing this and who you want to go with in life. And just get some better clarity on your path and your journey into togetherness. You savor those moments and you learn from others. And you had some genuine moments of vulnerability and understanding and being really self aware. So you know what to fix and what needs to have a little bit more attention to.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the recipe for success.
Oh, that's wonderful. I thank you so much for being here today. And I think there's so much our listeners are going to take away from this conversation of ways to begin the work on their own before they even hire a matchmaker and things they can do to begin to prepare for that moment of connection. And I really appreciate everything you've said. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.